Okay, so we're looking at this example, and in this example, we have a budget. We need to do a budget for 2019 to 2020. And what we have is we have some cost codes from a ledger account reference from the finance system. So this could be you in your company, you've been sent this and you have to do a budget for next year. But what you notice now is if I look at this reference table, we've got different inflation rates. For wages, it's 5%, for purchases, it's 2%, distribution cost 1%, 3%, sales is 4%, and others. Now, what I could do is I could come in here and type in 5% and then put wages because that it's A, and then I go on to B, it is 2%, and do that. So I could do that manually and maybe try to copy this and have 2% there. But then that means I would have to go all the way through these and make sure that they're right code. Now with VLOOKUP, it makes it much easier because it does most of the work for me. So what I need to do is I need to go into function, and then I click on my VLOOKUP, and you'll find VLOOKUP at the top there if you've used it before. And I click OK, and this comes up. So I have lookup value. What value am I looking up? I'm looking up the cost type. So I need to select all of these because these are the ones that I'm looking up. So I go all the way there. Then I go back, and then in my table, I'll look for my table with my reference table. Let's call it a reference table. I select all of them. Let's get this out of the way. I'll select all of these. So it's looking up in this table. Once it's found the A and it matches, I want it to pick up a value in the last column, which is column number 4. So I click on 4, and there you always put 0, and then it will say false on there. Now if I click OK, it gives me 5%. Now this is what I'll do. I need to copy this to go down. Let's try that. Now if I copy it, it's not working, and it's not working because of F4. So if I go on here, I want it to always look up the values in here, and so I'll go on to my H6 and press F4 there, and so it needs to look up on this table all the time. And if I press enter, I'm sure this time it should work. Now if I drag this down, you'll notice that it works. So what I showed you in the other session, I can double click on this and it will go all the way down. And so we can just check it. So if I go on here, I'll check this one. That's B56. It's D, and it's giving me 3% for my wage. If I go into my reference table, it's got administration costs 3%. Okay, so now I can do my budget. So what I need to do is I will go equals on there, 8,500. I need to multiply this with the inflation. So what I'll do is I'll go multiply. Now if I multiply by 5%, it will only give me the extra. So I need to multiply it by 1 plus the 5%. So I will go 1 plus that, and then I will close my bracket. So what it does is now it's now taken the 1 for the 8,500 and it adds 5% on top. And so once I do that, I can copy this formula going down. So if I drag it all the way down, it will give me my values. I just need to copy it all the way down. And up to there. And then on the total, I will get the total of all these values, and that will give me the total of my budget for the year. So I'll go on function. I'll look for sum. You can always type it if you want. Sum is at the top for me there. I'll click on sum, and then I will say I want you to add from E4 all the way down to the last one. And there, and then I press enter, and then it gives me my budget of negative 52,366 for the next year. Now you can notice that it's applied an average inflation from last year. Last year was 47,540, and this year is 52,366. But we have different inflations there. So now you notice that with VLOOKUP, it makes it so easy to just look up the values. Now you will need to do something like this for your assignment, and just make sure you can come back to these videos and watch how we have done it, and then you can apply it for your assignment. And if you get stuck, you can come back and watch it again. Thank you for listening.